How's it going, guys and girls? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, my name is Zephr, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you what I would call the final raid boss version of the snow team. This team is incredible now. The changes are absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I am loving it. I'm top 100 on ladder right now with this team. Yeah, it's just phenomenal. I did take some inspo from Raghav from the regional this weekend, so I want to say that most of that comes from him, not from me. Like, I had a general consensus on what I wanted to do with a snow team, but after watching his sets on the weekend and looking at the changes he had to the team compared to my teams, that they were just obviously much better, and that I will say with no problems. And I would say that don't give me credit for this, give him credit for this. I mean, I haven't got an Ogre but I'll explain that in all due time, whereas he did. I've got Iron Hands instead. That's kind of self-explanatory in itself. But yeah, I love this team. I'm having a blast playing it. It's so much fun because you're not just running the exact same top 12 Pokemon, and yeah, it's great. So without further ado, let's get into the team breakdown. Actually, just before we get into the team breakdown, there was one last thing I wanted to say. I'm really sorry about my upload schedule as of recent. For the guys that are coming back all the time, watch my videos, all that sort of jazz, I appreciate you all. I've been really sick recently. The past week has been absolutely horrendous. I've been in bed by like 9 o'clock every single night and sleeping for like 10-12 hours of time while working. By the time I wake up, I do stuff with the family, go to work, come back, have dinner. The last thing I really have wanted to do is sit down and play VGC and like actually upload or anything like that. So I am really sorry about that. As you can hear, I'm probably still really nasally, but I'm feeling much better now. I'm not 100% still, but I'm feeling much better than I was. So expect my current schedule to go back to every 3 or 4 days, as it should be, because I've just kind of been a bit slack with that, and yeah, I'm really sorry about that. So without further ado now, let's get into the team breakdown. So starting off the team breakdown today, just like last time, is Baxcalibur. No self-explanation on a snow team. Baxcalibur is Ice Dragon. It can hit extremely hard. It got a really good buff with the Kitakami DLC, the Teal Mask. Scale Shot got added to its move pool. It got, yeah, that is just a huge buff in itself, really. Being able to hit 2 to 5 times when you're running a Pokemon that is using the loaded dice item, which makes it so that your multiple hitting moves have higher chances at hitting more times, is incredible. Not only that, but this move can do like anything from like 50 to 100% on most Pokemon, which is crazy. The downside is you do get a defense down when you use it, but you do get a speed up. And with the way this Baxcalibur is built, that does allow it to outspeed, like, I would say a good 80-90% of the metagame right now. And once this thing gets going, it's very hard to stop, especially if you set it up behind Aurora Veil with Ninetales and you have Snow up, so it gets an even higher defense pool. Icicle Spear is self-explanatory as well. Exact same thing as Scale Shot, just another form of stab. Super effective into a lot of the metagame right now. Ice is a really good aggressive typing for Pokemon right now. You know, there's not a lot it doesn't go into. You've got Landorus, you've got Rillaboom, you've got other dragon types. It hits neutral into a bunch of things. Ice is just really good right now. I've got high horsepower on my Baxcalibur. If you have watched this video, not my last video, this is a great coverage move for Baxcalibur into, say, Iron Hands. Iron Hands is probably the biggest issue that Baxcalibur really has, because it can just, you know, do so much damage to it. When it's set up correctly, it's not going to have a great time trying to deal with your Baxcalibur, but until it is, and you're trying to position the Pokemon, high horsepower is going to let you do a ton of damage to Iron Hands very quickly. And then finally, on the moves, we've got Dragon Dance. This, once again, kind of goes like Scale Shot, but you're going to get an attack buff and a speed buff. And this is just about being positioned well. You know, if you lead the game with Baxcalibur and say something else, and your opponent leads really badly into that, you can take the time to set up a Dragon Dance, and then Baxcalibur is basically online and ready to smash everything to death. Once his Pokemon gets going, it's very hard to shut down. The only other change that is actually on this Pokemon is we put Ice Body on this, and once again, I'll shout out Raghav for this from the regional on the weekend. Thermal Exchange has been the ability for Baxcalibur for a long time, and that kind of goes without saying. There's a ton of fire Pokemon in the metagame, and Baxcalibur getting a free attack rise on a switch in, on a Heatran Heat Wave, all sorts of things is really good. But when you're running a Snow Setter, and especially when we've got such a good Snow Setter in Alolan Ninetales now, Ice Body is actually super beneficial. I think this set could benefit from having Protect, because you're able to regain even more HP. But it's really hard to fit Protect onto a set that you want to be aggressive, especially when this thing can win the game, depending on when it comes out and such, and how it is played. Ice Body allows you to regain HP every single turn with Ninetales, as long as your opponent isn't switching the weather, or, you know, you just need to get your weather back online. Partner that with Landorus intimidating things so that things aren't doing as much damage. Aurora Veil, so once again Baxcalibur is barely taking any damage in the snow. Yeah, this thing becomes very, very bulky and hard to take out, and yeah, it puts a really big concern on your opponent to have to deal with it. Fire Terror is the choice because Fire is not very affected by Fairy, not very affected by... The type is Steel. Fairy and Steel into Baxcalibur going Terrasalizing Fire is great because, one, you remove that weakness to Fluttermane, which is obviously still very prevalent, if not as a little bit less prevalent than it has been, but nonetheless it's never going anywhere really. So trying to launch a Dazzling Gleam Moonblast into this thing when it goes Terra Fire won't really do a lot, and Baxcalibur is keen to one-shot a Fluttermane with Icicle Spear if it lands all 5 times, so that's crazy. And then obviously you've got King Gambit and Heatran in the meta as well now. Heatran has Flash Cannon, King Gambit has Iron Head, and well, Komodo just won the regional as well with Iron Head on that as well. Steel is just another good aggressive type. Obviously if you Terra Fire Baxcalibur, that's not going to really do much to it either. So yeah, this Pokemon is just phenomenal. I'm so glad it's seeing play again because, you know, it was really good at the start. It won the first ever regional for Scarlet and Violet, then it fell off a bit, and, you know, in Regulation E it's come back. Yeah, it's really, really good. I love it, and I think it's a well-designed Pokemon. It's really good in competitive. Yeah, Baxcalibur is just awesome. So next up on this team is Landorus, which should come as no surprise to people. There are a couple choices on my Landorus compared to others, which I'll get into in a minute, but Landorus is like the premier Intimidator now. It's just so good at what it does. It comes in, it intimidates, you use U-turn, you switch back out, you bring something else in safely, you bring it back in, rinse, repeat. It just continuously gets that Intimidate cycle off. It keeps things like Iron Hands in check, Baxcalibur, even though not many people are going to be running Baxcalibur unless it suits a team like this. But just in general, loads of different things, Arcanine, Dragonite if it's not in a focus, Chiarmpal. Like, Intimidate is just one of the best abilities in the game. Ability Shield is something that I'm running on Landorus. I explained this in one of my past videos that I used Wheezing in. Wheezing is now in the metagame. It's not being used like a crazy amount, but it is seeing use. Ability Shield is going to allow you to keep your Intimidator intimidating things, which is really, really important. There are counters to Landorus now. People are running King Gambit again because of Defiant and such. You probably see a bit of the Monkey, the Annihilate come back around as well. But once again, I think you need Intimidate in this format where we're very physical heavy on the Pokemon side of things. So yeah, Ability Shield means that Landorus gets to intimidate things when it wants, whenever, there's no issues. U-turn, I already explained this. U-turn allows Landorus to pivot in and out, safely getting Intimidates off and just kind of going about its business. It's also super effective into Grass, so Terra Grass, Heatran, Rillaboom, as well as Psychic types. So, and I'm pretty sure Bug as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, U-turn is a really good move. Rock Slide is just is just a great move. Hits both slots, 20 or 30% flinch chance. You can win games with just Rock Slide alone. It's crazy. Plus, Rock is once again another really good aggressive move type in this current meta game. There's a lot of things that Rock goes into. Fire types, Hisuian Arcanine, Ice types like my Ninetales and my Baxcalibur, as well as flying types, Tornadus, that sort of thing. So yeah, Rock Slide is really good. Stomping Tantrum is Lando's main form of stab because, one, if it gets fake outed and he uses it the next turn, then it gets double damage, which is insane. And Earthquake is like, you could use Earthquake, but then you'd have to be running Protect on a lot of your Pokemon, and a lot of the time, Earthquake is not great when you can't like protect your own Pokemon and you don't want to be dealing damage to your own one. So Stomping Tantrum works out really, really well here. The two questionable things about my Landorus is I'm using Imprison right now, and this is a really weird move choice, but I'll explain. You could change this for Protect, you could change this for another aggressive move. Obviously Terra Blast was really important in the past with Terra Fly and Landorus, but I think it's kind of crafty to have Imprison on there. So if your opponent brings out their own Lando, because Lando is so prevalent in the metagame right now, you can just hit the Imprison button and send it to the Shadow Realm. Your opponent is basically forced to switch out because I'm pretty sure every Landorus runs the exact same moveset. So, you know, your opponent might get to keep like Terra Blast, but you're going to lock down their U-turn, Rock Slide, and Stomping Tantrum, and then you get a free turn to double into a slot essentially, which is really, really huge. It's kind of niche. You're not going to see it go off a lot, but it definitely does work. I've done it a couple times myself, and it is really funny. People don't expect to see that on a Landorus set. And then the most questionable part is Terra Dragon. So if you don't know, Terra Dragon is kind of making an uprising right now. Fluttermane is going down in usage. I expect it will go back up after the recent regional. But Terra Dragon, Lando is weak to water. Lando is weak to ice. Obviously, Dragon doesn't counteract that. But Dragon has a ton of not very effective half damage slots that Lando really benefits from having that Terra Dragon on. So when you're facing off against, say, Heatran with Heat Wave, like on my team, you can Terra Dragon. Lando's going to not be very affected by that. If your opponent attempts to Ogerpon Water you or Urshifu you, you can go Terra Dragon, and Lando's not really going to feel that, as well as Grass. Lando's going to be not very affected by that. So Terra Dragon is a really, really good Terra type on this Pokemon in itself. I wouldn't say it's great on every Pokemon, but there are a few niche Pokemon where Terra Dragon is really, really good, and I think Lando is one of those. Once again, the problem is that an Ice Pokemon is still going to force you off the field, really. With Landorus, you can Terra it to try and live and attack still, which is really, really good. But like you could with Terra Flying, because Lando is 4 times weak to Ice. But Terra Dragon is just really, really good in more circumstances than any other Terra type is, and that's why I put it on my Landorus. So, yeah. So now we come to Iron Hands, and Iron Hands is kind of just, once again, self-explanatory. Iron Hands stays around, it does loads of damage, it gets Fake Out, it deals with Flutter Mane, even though Flutter Mane is like one of its main weaknesses. With the Assault Vest, its bulk is superior to anything. Obviously, it's still going to get really, really hurt by Fairy-type moves, Ground-type moves, but the bulk is ridiculous. And yeah, it's just one of the best Pokemon, if not the best Pokemon in the format now. It hits pretty much everything for neutral, besides like Landorus, which is also another one of its main enemies. It hates to see that, but you know, it loves to see everything else. It's going to Drain Punch Heatran, Rillaboom, Ninetales, Baxcalibur, any of the Ogerpons, just mainly anything, and just continuously stay around and be an absolute nuisance to your opponent. Wild Charge is an insane form of stab for the Pokemon. Drain Punch, once again, gives it recoverability and sustainability, as well as doing loads of damage. Fake Out is one of the best moves in the game itself. Heavy Slam is phenomenal for dealing with Fairy types and Ice types, and Iron Hands is just not going anywhere. It's just so good. So moving on to Alolan Ninetales now, and the other day when I made my last Snow Team video, I made a case for it being on, you know, specifically Snow teams, because, you know, it gets Snow Warning, so it can set Snow for Baxcalibur, giving it Ice Body recover, it gives it extra defense, but it also gets Aurora Veil and Blizzard, and Blizzard is a great move, and Aurora Veil is just Light Screen and Reflect smashed together for Snow. But I think this thing has a case to be on any team now, after watching the regional Sacramento this weekend. Because not only does it set its own weather, and then it can use Aurora Veil, as long as obviously, you know, your opponent doesn't have their own weather that they manage to get in, or they have a Tornadus that can set rain, or that sort of thing. But it is really, really good damage-wise on Moonblast, considering it's a Fairy type. Blizzard can win you games just by RNG freezing things, which is crazy. But it does what Grimmsnarl does, or what Klefki has done, or even Sableye does with the screens, just on one turn, as long as the conditions are correct. And that's all it needs to do, really, to add value to any team. Now, once you've got the Aurora Veil up, your team is behind 2 screens, and it's very, very hard for your opponent to deal with that. Especially if you've got Light Clay, like I have on my Ninetales. There are other support sets for Ninetales. I saw Icy Wind this weekend. Blizzard is pretty much a mainstay. There's plenty of ways that Ninetales can be useful, as well as Aurora Veil. But like, I just think for this team in particular, this set works really, really well. I definitely think Icy Wind works on other teams, because being able to control the speed tiers when your opponent has, say, Tailwind or just in general is really, really strong. But this set here, personally, for me, is what works for the Snow team. Terra Water, so that, you know, you can deal with pesky Urshifu Rapid Strike, or Fire type move, or a Rock type move going into Ninetales really, really well. Although most of the time, because of the buff to Snow, this thing has enough defense to take a hit or two quite easily anyway. Or Heavy Slam as well from Iron Hands, which it won't take very nicely. Terra Water is going to kind of allow you to deal with that, and it's also going to make Ogerpon Water a lot less viable towards this thing, and Ogerpon Her Flame. But yeah, I just think this thing is actually a top tier, S tier Pokemon now. As I said, it slots into any team, it does screen setters jobs, and it can deal damage. It is a phenomenal Pokemon, and I welcome it onto many, many of my teams. So next up on the team is Heatran, and this is a bit of a different Heatran set to what I'd usually run personally. I'm pretty sure the EVs are the same, but the Terra type's different, the moveset's different, and the item is different. So here we've actually gone for a substitute Heatran, and I really, really like this set, to be honest, guys. With the extra recovery on the team with Rillaboom, we'll get over to that. Aurora Veil, so that you can actually have Heatran set up behind screen, so it's taking even less damage. And Fairy Terra to kind of negate Iron Hands, which is a huge threat to Heatran, as well as other things like Landorus for ground moves and that sort of thing. Heatran is really, really strong. I've actually only given it Earth Power and Heat Wave this team. The reason for that is because Flash Cannon is really good for Flutter Mane, But that's really about it. I don't really find a lot of value for Flash Cannon besides that, whereas Earth Power is a great coverage move for Heatran, because a lot of the metagame is weak to ground as of current, like Ogerpon, Her Flame, that sort of thing. You know, there's plenty of it, Iron Hands being another huge one, as well as Heat Wave just being able to do a ton of damage to Flutter Mane anyway, so I don't really find the necessity to actually have Flash Cannon on this set. Substitute is self-explanatory. Drop the Substitute, get Heatran behind it, and then protect pretty much the next turn unless there's an Urshifu, so that you can get extra recovery on that thing. The leftovers and grassy terrain, if that's up, are going to just get Heatran straight back up to full health almost. And then this thing can just sit there and cause your opponent hassle, and they have to deal with it, because otherwise it's just going to destroy their entire team by Heat Waving and Earth Powering them from behind the sub. Fairy Terror is really good. I was using Grass. It's still really, really good, Grass Terror, but I think there is definitely a case for as why to Fairy Terror has become really, really popular, so to speak. And yeah, Heatran just really slots well onto this team with the coverage. It just lines up really well into a lot of the metagame. It hits a lot of things for neutral damage. It's a hassle to deal with, and yeah, I just think it's really, really good. And yeah, it just sits on this team really, really well, to be honest. And finally on this team, we have Rillaboom. Rillaboom was not initially a pick I had for this team. I actually only put Rillaboom on this team after watching Raghav's set on the weekend. But I completely understand why it is super, super beneficial to this team. So Baxcalibur is going to heal with Ice Body from Ninetales through Snow Warning, which is going to give it, as I've already said, recoverability. Rillaboom's going to hit the field if you bring them together and drop Grassy Terrain as well. And so Baxcalibur is going to be gaining like 20, 30, if not more HP every single turn under the right circumstances, which is really, really good. Once again, with Heatran as well, Heatran getting behind a substitute, having leftovers, and then Grassy Surge is super beneficial for him as well. Rillaboom's here more as a support pick. It's not doing, well actually it is doing a lot in terms of damage. Rillaboom can do a lot of damage very, very quickly. It's mainly here to support the other big hitters on the team into doing a lot of damage and being able to just sit there behind Aurora Veil and all the other bits that we've got on the team. We've given it Water Terror because it does not want to get hit by a Flare Blitz by, say, Hisuian Arcanine. This also makes it line up really, really well into Urshifu Rapid Strike. Landorus and other Pokemon with U-Turn are just going to be able to U-Turn freely into Rillaboom, other Rillabooms for example, and it's going to make it harder for them to take Rillaboom out. Obviously, because Iron Hands has the Assault Vest, this Rillaboom has a Citrus Berry. Rillaboom has decent bulk as it is, so this Citrus Berry kind of allows it to go down by like half or such. A Heatran Heat Wave, for example, behind Aurora Veil is going to do like half damage to Rillaboom, and then it just pops a Citrus Berry, gets some recovery from Grassy Terrain, is back up to like 150 easily. Pretty standard move set for Rillaboom. We've got Fake Out because, once again, Fake Out is a goated move. Also, having two Fake Out users on a team is really, really good because you can pivot between them and constantly Fake Out, which is really annoying for your opponent. Grassy Glide, as Grassy Glide got added into the game with the DLC. Priority move on Grassy Terrain, hits for 55 base damage. Used to be 70 or 80, but it needed that nerf to not cause Rillaboom to be the ultimate weapon. U-turn to allow Rillaboom to pivot in and out, just like Landorus. Also be able to hit other Rillabooms for super effective damage, grass types like Armarouge or Heatran, for example, too. And then Woodhammer, because Rillaboom with Woodhammer can actually one-shot a ton of different things in the metagame right now. And if it doesn't one-shot them, it's going to do a ton of damage. And yeah, it's just a really good form of stab for Rillaboom to have. So yeah, this Pokemon kind of gives value by existing rather than actually doing tons of damage. I'm not saying it won't do tons of damage, as I said already. It probably will, because you can, and it lines up really well into threats towards Heatran, Lando, that sort of thing. But it's mainly going to be making sure those Pokemon are recovered nicely, and they're going to be able to deal with all the big threats that the team has. So yeah. And as for the team breakdown, guys, that's really about it. I do want to stress again that this team wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't watched Raghav's set. He is an incredible VGC player. I'll plug his Twitter in the description because I don't want to take credit for changes that weren't entirely mine. But 4 out of 6 of these Pokemon are mine. I don't have the Ogerpon like Raghav has. I definitely see why he has it, but I think Iron Hands is just better. I'm going to be the guy to say it. I think Ogerpon is good, but I don't think it's great. I think people are already working out so many counters for it that it's not going to have the mainstay that it kind of wants to have. I definitely think it is a great Pokemon, especially in this regulation. I just think that there are other Pokemon that can kind of outdo it. Ivy Cudgel was such a good move, but that's kind of all Ogerpon really has, and the fact that it can take out Water Terrors if it's fire because it gets Woodhammer as well, and so on and so forth. It's a good Pokemon, I just think there's better picks than it. And yeah, so Baxcalibur, Lando, Iron Hands, and Ninetales I already had, but the Heatran and Rillaboom additions are definitely because of his team. I'm going to say that straight up and take full responsibility for that, but they are welcome additions to this team. And yeah, that's really about it. So guys, if you want to use the team, the code is in the top right corner. It'll be in the description as well. I will actually plug the Pokepaste for this team in the description this time, so you guys can see the EVs and such, because as much as the Pokemon are almost identical on the teams, our EV spreads are going to definitely be different for different reasons, so I'll plug that below. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like as per usual. That's the main way of helping my channel out. I really appreciate it if you do that. Leave a comment telling me what you think of the team, what you think is good, what you think is bad, if you've had fun playing with it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe so that you never miss a video from me, and turn your post notifications on so that obviously you do that as well. And besides that, that's really been about it. So yeah, thank you so much guys for coming by as per usual. I appreciate all of you. We're on the road to 700 subs now, which is crazy. I've only been making BGC content a year, and we've seen so much progress, it's unreal, and I'm so thankful for that. And yeah, I really hope you have fun with the team. So for now, I've been Scott Zephr. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Heatran does look really good into this match. I just need to position it well, and we'll be good. That's a lovely start. Love to see this. So, quite simply, we're going to fake out the Arcanine, and we are just going to go all in on a Blizzard on the Tornadus, because I would very much assume that the Tornadus wants to change the weather up. So, let's fake out Arcanine, Blizzard here, let's go. Show me Sunny Day or Rain Dance. There we go, lovely. That is perfecto. Now I just need to, hopefully, hit my Blizzard, and we will be good. That's a whiff. Did we whiff on? Oh my god, not on the Torn, that's huge, lovely. Awesome, thank you very much, sir. So now we wild charge into Torn, and we go into Lando here. Lando looks good here, doesn't it? Yeah, Lando looks really good here, actually. We can always go Terra Dragon Landorus as well. Terra Dragon Landorus looks really good into this whole team, besides Fluttermane. I think Heatran can win this game, it just needs to come out at the right time. As soon as we get rid of Tornadus, we can control the weather, and we can get Aurora Veil up. We are in the driver's seat. Lando is going to huge threaten Hisui and Arcanine here as well, so Tailwind, that's fine, I'm okay with that. Don't actually have an issue with that. Rock Slide, not going to do a huge amount here. Oh my god, that actually did really hurt Lando, considering. But then Lando is partial flying type, so obviously that's going to be neutral damage, isn't it? So, oh okay, this is really good. I'm super okay with this actually. I think this turn we're going Wild Charge into Milotic, and we are going Terra Dragon here, which I wouldn't usually say, but we are. And we're going to go Terra Dragon, Stomping Tantrum into this Arcanine. Let's go. Thing is, if my opponent doesn't Terra his Arcanine this time, then he's in huge trouble, because my Lando will just murder the Arcanine. Okay, well, Arcanine's going to the card graveyard this turn, for sure. Is that Terra Steel Milotic? Well, that's even worse for you, because now I've got 2 targets into that. I mean, it lives this turn, so it's not a bad terrestrialization, but it will be next turn. You have got Tailwind, though, haven't you? So, here we go. Show them, make them believers, Terra Dragon Lando. Who did you whiff on? Lando, that's great for me. 23 damage on Iron Hands. Hydro Pump, okay, that's fine. Jesus Christ. And you set the sun up as well, so like your water attacks really aren't going to be doing all that much, unfortunately, my friend. Stomping Tantrum there, insta take out Hisui and Arcanine. He hates to see that. Do we win? No, we get this Wild Charge, not going to do nowhere near as much damage though. What, 25%? I would say that's literally 25% there, so yeah. What's the last Pokemon here? Is that Leftovers? Milotic? That's cool, I like that. What's the last one? That's a Fluttermane. Okay, that's a problem. Let's shut down that Photosynthesis first. So let's go Heavy Slam, Iron Hands, and Ninetales here. I need to take Terra Dragon Lando off the field for a minute anyway, because both of these things are probably carrying moves that can actually destroy him. So, but Ninetales is actually going to be a nice addition here. We're going to shut down the sun. We're going to activate the snow. I'm going to be able to activate Aurora Reveal next turn. Now Fluttermane's going to proc its own booster energy, which sucks, but what can you do? Dazzling Gleam. Hands lives, which is huge here. Well, this is what sucks for you, my friend, because you've not taken out my Iron Hands there, which should be your primary target. I'm pretty sure you just, yeah, GG's. Heatran doesn't even get to hit the field this game. It's going to have competitive, so I'm just not bringing Lando back out now. I'm going to set the Aurora Reveal up this turn, and then most Pokemon players quit in this position. I hope my opponent doesn't, because he can genuinely like play to an out here. But I can Drain Punch, and then I can bring in Heatran as and when, and then we should just be good from there, really. Yeah, he is playing. I like this. This is good. Iron Hands lives that, though, which is really sad for my opponent. Aurora Reveal goes down. So that 27 damage is going to become like 13 damage next turn. I'm going to get a fat Drain Punch off here. Really, really good. Terra Dragon Lando really came through there. Like, it mattered when it mattered. That was the main thing. Like so. Right, and now we just Drain Punch again because it's not going to matter. And we switch in Heatran just for the lulz because my opponent quits because there's no way. Yeah, there we go. GG's. Didn't even get to bring Heatran to the field there, but Heatran was just waiting. Heatran lined up really well into Terra Steel Melodic in the end, Fluttermane, Arcanine, and what was the other one as well? Tornadus. Tornadus not so much, but it, you know, it still would have dealt with it. So yeah, we are about to play a Weather War for the ages. The Reluctant. Which one's the Reluctant? I want to know. That's a cool tag. Okay, so this looks Trick Roomy straight away from Raghav. Then again, it could be just a evade fake out, to be honest. So, right, I think the thing is that hand is going to be a very key part of this match. So, if we go U-turn into a big draft, we can't fake out because of Armor Tail if we are running Armor Tail. So, I think switching into Ninetales here is actually my best ploy of play here. Because then he'll probably want to switch in Pelipper if he's brought it next, right, to get rid of my Snow. Which is fine, and U-turn lets me bring Iron Hands back in and pivot out Lando and get a second Intimidate next turn, forcing a switch out, right? I think this is going into Iron Hands, if I'm honest. Yep, that's cool, that's fine, it's absolutely fine with me. Bug. Okay, that's the weirdest terror I've ever seen, but the coolest path. Look how cool it is, he's got little antennas. Iron Antenna. That's a huge U-turn, that's huge damage. I love Landorus. Landorus got hurt by the Rocky Helmet though, so that's cool. We know what item it is, it's not Citrus Berry, so as long as we can get rid of the draft, it's not a problem anymore. And now, I honestly feel like we can just pivot back into Iron Hands, to be honest. Like, I don't really think it's that much of an issue. Like, if we need to Terra him, we can Terra him, but we'll see what happens. Oh, I don't like that. I really don't like that. That's very scary. Very scary Iron Hands now. We need to get rid of that bugger right now. Iron Hands is going to outspeed my Ninetales all day now as well. So I think here, the best thing we can do really... oh, we can't even just Drain Punch him anymore. Fair enough. I didn't realise not very effective on bugs. Let's go Wild Charge and let's hit the... I want to hit the Aurora Reveal, but I also don't want to see Pelipper come in and completely destroy my idea here. So if we go... It isn't going to do it. I think we just protect Ninetales here, honestly. Like, this Iron Hand is only at +1 right now because we got the Intimidate down anyway, so it's not super scary. Pelipper. Okay, that's fine. That's what I wanted to know. So now I know that setting Aurora Reveal just isn't going to work yet. And Pelipper is now my target this turn. How much damage we chunk from this for? Oh my god, a crit. So I'm saying we probably did about 20-25% if we hit that normally. Rock Slide Iron Hands? What is this? This is a really interesting team. That would have actually been horrifying, so not a fan. We are going to switch into Lando this turn. So let's just Wild Charge into the Pelipper slot and switch into Lando. And this will put that Iron Hands back down at normal. And that's kind of where I need it to stay at. I just need to be able to continuously stop it from Swords Dancing, so it's just at the level it needs to be at, so I can beat it. We're just going to have this Weather War. This is probably a really good match to have for this team, because it just goes to show how well it can be played in the Weather War. Double Intimidate. Wild Charge is going to let me absolutely shred Pelipper, but he's going to have Sash. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he? I just need to not see a Hydro Pump into my Lando this turn. Okay, that's 60 damage, that's relative. And it's going to go down soon, and that's sad, really sad. Hurricane, okay, that's fine. I can take that. That's going to still do a lot of damage. No confusion though, which is the key part here, right? Leftovers hands. I like seeing this hands. Haven't seen this hands in a long time. Right, Trick Room's got 2 turns, so I think we need to pivot out here. We're going to get Drain Punched into that slot there. There's not really a safe pivot, to be honest. I think we just have to Wild Charge into the slot, to be honest. Pelipper's just getting gone this turn. I think we bring... Oh, I want to bring Ninetales to the field so bad. Yeah, I think we do. I think we bring Ninetales to the field this turn. Yeah, cool. Like, the moment you lose the Pelipper, the moment I have control of the weather, and this game is easy for me from there. Ah, the Draft is the Reluctant. I like that. Huge Draft. Lando just doing Lando things. Ninetales comes out. Now I can just hammer a Blizzard next turn if I really want to, which is huge. I love the fact that my Iron Hand is slower than my opponent's Iron Hands still, and that's an intentional EV from me, so that's going to hurt my Ninetales. Ninetales lives though, quite happily. Hand is quite happy here as well. I wonder if my Iron Hand is actually slower than this Draft or not. That's an interesting thing to find out. Right, if we go into Lando here now, and we set Aurora Reveal this turn. Yeah, we're setting Aurora Reveal this turn. I don't feel like my opponent switches out here. You just lose Pelipper if I attack, so my opponent's team is really interesting though. I do really like it. I think it's super cool. Lando is just doing serious work though, for real. This Iron Hand is having a tough time getting around him. Not a fan. Oh, he is going to bring Pelipper back in. Okay, fair enough. I didn't think you'd have the balls to do it, to be honest. Like... Oh, no. Oh, wait. Yeah, that is Pelipper and a Beast Ball. I didn't see the Beast Ball last time. This is sad. Rock Slide. I might actually... No. -1 Intimidate actually coming through huge here. The good thing is that I'm actually going to be able to Rock Slide for free this turn. Because we're going to have no Trick Room. And, yeah, the Lando is about to drop a huge Rock Slide, which is actually going to be super effective on hands as well because of the Bug Terror. So that's cool. If we bring in my own Iron Hands here... Or do I bring in Bax here? I want to keep Bax fresh here because I need him to be fresh on the way in. And he can potentially take every KO for this game, to be honest. So I need my Weather, so I can lose either of these 2 Mon, really, unfortunately. I think it's going to be Baxcalibur left out back to deal with the rest of the game. Pelipper leaves. That probably means Refrigerath comes in, right? Yeah, we can deal with Refrigerath next turn. That's fine. We get a flinch. Iron Hands is almost down. Give me a flinch. That's the second crit we've had on that Iron Hands, and we get the flinch. That's huge. Lovely. Right, Iron Hands is about to actually go down. I think Bug Terror is really interesting for hands. I think the problem is it makes it super weak to Lando, which is just like such a prevalent thing in the meta right now. So, not really the situation you want to be in, but it is the situation you are in. So, where is this Iron Hands at? -1. Okay, right. If we full send into this thing this turn, let's go Drain Punch there as well. Withdraw the Iron Hands. We're going to bring the Pelipper out. What's coming in instead? That's not Pelipper. What's that? Oh, it's Ogerpon. Okay, so we do have the Ogerpon. The Ogerpon is here. Okay, well, that is perfecto for me. Like, Rocky Helmet sucks. I don't know if I lose my Lando because of that Rocky Helmet. Do I lose the Lando? No, Lando's still staying here. We love that. Really good for me. Right, now we bring the Ninetales in. My opponent will probably bring in Pelipper to counteract that, but that's fine. Drain Punch, doing half damage. My Iron Hand's going to really enjoy that for free. So now we know what it is. It's Ogerpon, it's Pelipper, and it's Draft. No, I've knocked out the Draft. It's Iron Hands now, so that's Pelipper coming back in. That really doesn't matter for me. I just pivot out into Lando. Lando can take KO here. I'm absolutely fine with that. I think this might be where I go Grass Terror, honestly. Yeah, I think Grass Terror is actually the play here, for real. And we go straight into... Oh, does my Ninetales outspeed? I don't know if my Ninetales is going to outspeed this Ogerpon, you know? I think I still need to switch it out into Lando. Yeah, no, this is fine. And then Grass Terror is either my best friend or my worst enemy. I think I don't Grass Terror this time. I think I Grass Terror next turn. This turn, we just Wild Charge into the Pelipper. Because if I Terror Grass this turn, then it makes Iron Hands weak to Pelipper's Hurricane, and Pelipper will guaranteed get Hurricane first. and it will absolutely hit. So I could lose my Iron Hands based on that. But doing it this way is probably much, much safer. Spiky Shield, Ivy Cudgel, we're just going for it. Okay. Oh my god, that kills my Iron Hands. That's not huge. Sad. Weather Ball. Okay, that's... I like that. I like that a lot. I don't see a lot of Weather Ball on Pelipper, and I think Weather Ball is a super good move. So, and now we're down to the final two. But this is actually where I want to be. This is actually really, really good for me. Seagrass Terra would allow me to see, but that's the whole problem. Like, do you live if you Terra or do you not? It's like my opponent can read that I go Terra Grass, and then that's bad. Or he can read I don't. Yeah, it really is that simple. Right, so this turn, I think we absolutely have to go... We have to go offensive here. Like, I don't want to go offensive, but we have to go offensive. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to Scale Shot into Ogerpon. Yeah, I think the best thing to do here, actually, is go Terra Water, set up Aurora Veil, and then go Scale Shot into Ogerpon. Yes. Pelipper's going to leave so that he can get Rain back up. But as long as I set the Aurora Veil first, we're good. It doesn't matter. And if I hit the Scale Shot, then that Ogerpon goes to the graveyard, unfortunately, for my opponent. So, and there's no way that Iron Hands can take out my Baxcalibur with all due respect. Like, yes, weak to fighting, but my Bax is going to move first because of speeds. And yeah, that's actually huge for me. I'm super okay with that. I wish I'd launched a Dragon Dance into that straight away. Finally get my Aurora Veil up, so that's huge. And I definitely see Pelipper coming in this next turn. But I also see that I can just click Blizzard and Scale Shot and still be okay, so yeah. Baxcalibur really isn't going to be phased by Ogerpon, so we click Blizzard here, and we click Scale Shot into Hands. Hands more threatening here. I think Hands... I think I still just double into Hands, because Ninetales is going to go first anyway. And, well, there we go. This kind of decides this now anyway. That Blizzard's going to hit, Pelipper's going to go down, as long as we actually connect with the Blizzard. And then my Baxcalibur's going to get a Scale Shot, hopefully, into the Ogerpon, and we're going to be good. Horn Leech, that sucks for me, but, what are you going to do? I still need to take out the Hands first. That's the biggest problem here. This has been a really good game, though. Right, Bax, I need you. Yes, lovely. This is awesome. Now that we have the Aurora Veil up as well, we're taking half damage. Like, we don't have rain, don't get me wrong, so Ogie's actually really going to hurt, and I'm going to lose defense here. But I think we still have this, I think. I just have to go after the Iron Hands. Like, I don't think Ivy Cudgel is enough to take me out fully here. Iron Hands Drain Punch definitely is, however. So let's go Icicle Spear this slot. Let's go for the full accuracy moves now, and we should be fine. Oh my god, he doesn't even fake out. That is an Omega throw from you, my friend. There's no way Ogerpon takes out my Baxcalibur. W. Through at the final hurdle. Played this game to a T, absolutely. Horn Leech. No. Horn Leech, Ivy Cudgel. Yeah, Ivy Cudgel. This is still going to do decent damage, I think. No, okay. Baxcalibur just doesn't care. Right, let's go Icicle Spear because it doesn't miss, and we should just win this game now. Yeah, if that hits 5 times, it's GG's, homie. Go on loaded dice, show why you are a good item. One more, no. Rail Blaze. Okay. That's an interesting tech move. I think that's actually really cool tech, though. I just don't think it's going to matter in this game. The only thing that could matter here is a crit, but no. It's just not happening. GG's, homie. Really cool team, though. Really like that team. Respect on that team. This team is just... Baxcalibur is just the GOAT, though, let's be real. Like, look at him. He is an Omega GOAT. His little fingers. So cool. I'm actually in love with playing this team, man. This team is so good, and it's so fun. Askia Legion Urshifu. Okay, that's fine. Urshifu is not going to like seeing either of these Pokemon, so... Rillaboom is actually going to do so much work this game, honestly. Like, I think I can just freely Grassy Glide and fake out here, though. Like, why can't I, really? The only thing that is really going to muck me up here will be Pelipper. That's why we're not going to Grass Terra Iron Hand straight away. So let's go Fake Out and Grassy Glide into this Urshifu. Baxcalibur use Protect, that's fine. I probably could have Woods Hammered this and just got rid of the Urshifu actually. That's probably a misplay on my part, but let's see how much damage Grassy Glide does anyway. So, oh my god, ridiculous. I could have got the Oko this turn for free, that would have been huge. But now, Urshifu can't just stay on the field, so we can actually Grassy Glide there this turn, and that's fine. So, actually, that's a much better way to play that, because now no matter what, Psykeeper switches in or Urshifu goes down, and I get to free target. So now I think it's actually really safe to just go Wild Charge into... No, actually, I don't want to Grass Terry yet. I think I can just Wild Charge the Baxcalibur for free here, to be honest. Like, yep, Urshifu goes down, easy. This Rillaboom was such a good add to the Snow team. 1 for the recovery for Baxcalibur, and 2 because it gives me a really good matchup into things like this. So that was a lot of damage. Too bad your Baxcalibur's going to die now. There's 2 rain teams I've ran into today so far. And the first one was an actual difficult match for sure. The second one is like an actual crime scene on my end. Cloyster. Okay, Cloyster's an interesting move. I like that. I think Cloyster does make it so that I Terra my Rillaboom this turn now though, for sure. Right, so let's go Terra and go U-turn into Cloyster. And let's go swap you out into Ninetales for sure. And then we can get Baxcalibur in the left, have the Snow set up Aurora Reveal next turn, and be in really good positions. There's just no way that Cloyster is going to beat my entire team, and there's no way Pelipper is either, so. No more rain for you, sir. Snow now. We like snow. Snow pretty. I want to make sure I am recording. Yeah. Terra Water Rillaboom is back on the menu, boys and girls. I've never actually used Terra Water Rillaboom, but with Water Pond being heavy hard meta right now, this is the best defensive Terra, I think, personally, because you can Terra to avoid you Terra Water to avoid Fire, Ogre Pond to start with, and then you can just switch out the turn after when it Wood Hammers, and so on and so forth with other things as well. It's just like, you know, Terra Fire's not really gaining anything for Rillaboom anymore, and Water Pond runs around everywhere now, so. Right, this is just an Omega W now. Like, Baxcalibur comes in, we get to set up Aurora Reveal, we get to, like, neither of these Pokemon threaten Baxcalibur at all, especially in the snow, you know, so. Ninetales is going to take actual decent damage from that, but we're just going to get health recovery because of grassy terrain, which is why Rillaboom is so good on this team. I'm actually just going to take the time here to set up a scale Dragon Dance like a So-So, and also set up Aurora Reveal. The battle was cancelled. Weather Control plus Baxcalibur about to go ham.
Easy. Hundreds of lives.
Mm-hmm.